That was
Okay,
fun.
actually say like a sentence.
Far Cry 2 is going to be talked about on this podcast.
Stop looking at your
Save
fucking
it.
dots.
Well, yeah, I keep looking at that.
Games, video 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 games.
It's January 28th, 2009, and the games industry is still recession-proof.
This is Idle Thumbs 16, and I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
And I am Jake Rodkin
And we're joined today by Chris Kohler of Wired.
from the internet.
Hi, yes, I'm the internet's Chris Kohler.
Sweet. Good
Nice
thing.
to be here on the internet.
Thanks. Welcome back to the internet.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still here.
It's like my home away from home, which my home is the internet, so it's all kind of,
you know,
yeah.
the
Some
internet.
home.
Sweet. So, how's it going?
It's okay. Thank you for inviting me to your lovely apartment.
No problem.
This is the internet.
I'm noticing that all of your video games are actually alphabetized,
They are.
which is really creepy. And even like your
I never noticed that.
even like your 2 PlayStation 3 games are alphabetized. Like Unreal Tournament is right after Uncharted.
I have more than 2. I've like...
There's a few.
have, like,
well,
10.
to be fair, you're padding it out by putting the Dragon's Lair Blu-ray in there. I guess that's a gimme.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That's
Yeah.
like a game.
I'd estimate I probably have like 20 PS3 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably got like 60 games for the PlayStation.
Probably not that many. But
No, not
I
probably
have
not
a
60.
shit ton of PS2 games,
Yeah?
which my PS3 can play.
Mine too.
Nice. We should
But
form a club.
Wired Magazine's PlayStation 3 debug went on the fritz
Yeah.
just today.
Good story.
Well, no, I'm wondering what's going to happen. Like we've got to, we're probably going to have Baker, call Sony and see what's up. If they can get us a new one. But then I wonder, like, are they going to send us a debug that
Can't play PS2
can't
games?
play? Yeah, like, I don't know
Oh,
what's
man,
going to
that's
happen.
dangerous to have to RMA your PS3 at this point.
Basically, I'm just curious as to what actually happens. Like, if they send us a debug, if it's going to be markedly different than the one that they sent out at launch.
Yeah. Well, you never know. There's been like 8 SKUs of that thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
Are those
amazing.
a little
ones
bit
that look
better.
like the huge 80s VCR.
The PlayStation 3.
Never mind. That's not quite what I meant.
I think it means the debug.
The debug.
No, the debug PS3 just looks like a PS3. It just plays burned games.
Okay, I guess that's true. Usually with debug,
It's not a
yeah,
development.
it doesn't
The,
look
yeah,
like
the
what I'm
debug ones usually look
yeah.
like the real ones, and then the development ones look like these hilarious
Yeah.
things that just
Yeah.
fell out of an airplane. Or
I
something.
just saw on the internet on eBay that somebody had auctioned off a GameCube development kit, not a debug GameCube, but a GameCube, the Dolphin
Dolphin?
development
Some sort of
kit,
Dolphin, yeah.
the Dolphin, which is that big, looks like a giant, doesn't even look like an 80s VCR, it looks like a giant purple.
It looks like a Silicon Graphics
It looks like a part
workstation.
out of a car. Yeah, like it's ridiculous, and the thing only went for like $250. I would have bought that.
Could you buy 2 of them and make a Wii game?
Oh, yes.
Sorry,
you could
I
have.
hate that.
You
That's
could have.
retarded.
I feel
Honestly,
horrible
It's
for
retarded.
saying that.
You could have bought one of them and
Yeah.
made a Wii game,
Yeah.
but you know that the original Wii.
That's even worse.
You know the
Sorry.
original Wii development kit. That's horrible.
We're-
You know the
we're bad
original
people.
when they signed up Wii developers, what they sent them was a Wiimote that hooked up to that Dolphin development.
Oh, yeah.
kit, right?
I remember that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Wiimote, the
And
Wii
then
development
they
kit.
sort of
fit in
said,
like
and
an
at some
envelope.
point you'll be able to do like sort of 480p particle for kind of maybe. Except I guess they did that on the GameCube.
They
on
were
that-
just like, guys,
Yeah.
start with this.
Rare did some
that's
pretty
where they
amazing
pretty much
first
ended.
stuff.
yeah, on that
GameCube, yeah.
on the Star Fox.
Yeah.
What was that game?
Adventures.
Star Fox.
Yeah,
Star Fox
sorry,
Adventures?
my brain went Star Fox, Starcraft, Warcraft Adventures. It was weird, and then I realized that maybe I didn't know anything. But
Warcraft Adventures.
There was that.
Been
Yeah,
picked
that's
up
a good
by
one.
Rare.
well,
Yeah.
no, I knew that it wasn't that, but I couldn't like my brain.
Yeah, I know.
Jumped
Right.
through
But it's
4
funny
names
that you
didn't
ended up with
remember
a real game that.
That's why I was confused in the first place.
Okay. Sweet.
So anyway,
So,
computer
Chris,
games.
you were
I mean,
saying
So
you
this
were,
this is what happens on this podcast, huh? This is pretty much how it goes.
Rifling off into like random
Yeah.
tangents.
Sorry.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
a bad podcast. I'm sorry.
Oh
for
no no no
inviting
no
you.
no.
yeah, we're bad people.
Yeah. So you were saying you got Samurai, Afro Samurai.
I did. I got Afro Samurai today.
This is a game that a lot of people were thinking was going to be like, a pretty unusually good adaptation, like licensed game.
Well, I mean, they've been working on it forever.
Yeah,
like
and they
I
made,
think I
like,
remember
a-
hearing about this at every Namco Bandai event since they became Namco Bandai. Like they've been talking this up for a very long time, so I figured it had to be okay, and it's okay. You know, I played the
Sweet.
first couple levels. It's all right. The camera's terrible, but the sort of sword slicing action, and this sort of leads into what I was going to say about this, is interesting because like you go into these like focus mode attacks, and then you aim, a little white line appears on your enemy in front of you, and that's where your sword is going to slice him.
right. I remember
So you
this
kind of get bonus points if you slice that. You can slice like the top of his head off. Like
So does
in
it
that-
go into like slow-mo or something?
it goes into slow mo. You can get hit out of it, so you really want to do it. You know, when you're when you're have enough time to hit the guy in the first place, is what I meant to say. And then you can sort of slice the top of his head off, slice his entire head off, slice his legs off, and then there's like a little achievements for doing that
It's
sort
like
of thing.
Soldier of Fortune with a sword.
I guess it's like Afro Samurai,
Oh, I guess it's more like that.
Right.
It's fair enough.
right? I guess it's less of a metaphor and more of a
More of an actual direct
Right.
line.
right,
from
more
one
of
to
a
the other.
tautology. But so basically, so I'm killing some ninjas and stuff, and
Sweet.
that's
Nice,
all
good.
good. That's all okay, and I'm
Kill the guy.
killing them left and right, and then. So you know it's an M-rated game, right? It's like it's cell shaded. The graphics are actually pretty good. Cell shaded. It's got Samuel L. Jackson, whose talent
That explains
is
the-
saying the word fuck. Can we say fuck on this
Oh yeah,
podcast?
please say it all the time.
Okay. So they just
Fuck,
say
fuck.
that fuck. No, that is what they do in Afro Samurai.
So it's kind of
They
a
just say it all
spiritual
the time.
successor to Kane and Lynch.
And it's
Basically, this game is like video games.
actually
it has no resemblance
It had
to.
a
It's
sticker on
like-
the cover
Homeworld
that
with a
said Afro
sword.
Samurai in sort of a generic stenciled font, and then I peeled it back and it said Kane and Lynch 2 underneath it. So I
like
think
Oblivion with
it was
guns.
changed up. Actually,
and a
it's-
sword.
really, I would say it's more like Afro Samurai.
Oh,
But
That's good. I was
Well, I
going to
don't know what
boycott
that
it if it was
means.
Kane and Lynch.
So things are going okay, and I'm killing things. Then this mature rated game introduces the next enemy type in the beginning, in the middle of the first level, and the next enemy type after random ninjas is naked women. Now, okay, I'm sorry.
Joke.
I say
But the next enemy
Yeah.
is just boobs.
it is naked women with their tits out, and they're wearing G-strings. But there's this whole cinematic scene where they all decide to attack you, and no, they're realistic nude ladies who then start killing you.
Realistic? Like, isn't this a cartoon game?
Well, it's cell shaded.
We scanned America's top porn stars.
This is the thing. It's cell shaded, but that sort of just serves to kind of gloss over the imperfections that you would see in like a quote unquote realistic polygonal model, and they actually do just look, more. It's one of those cases where you stylize something a little bit,
Without
and it just seems
clothes,
a little
like
more
yeah.
realistic. But anyway, that's besides the point. So then you have to start killing them, and then more and more naked ladies start coming out, and you start killing
sounds
them.
like Jack Thompson's dream.
Well, that's the thing about it.
Actually,
Wasn't
it's Afro Samurai.
it wasn't about 15. Yeah, it's more like Afro Samurai. So about 15 seconds into this, I realize that I feel extraordinarily creepy because this game, like, you are slicing the limbs off of naked women, and they are screaming in pain, and their realistic
Jesus.
limbs are all over the
Someone
place.
made
You're
like a
slicing their
snuff
heads
game.
off.
Fox
It
News tomorrow.
felt like a snuff game. I was thinking about like
snuff game.
do you know like Chiller, that old arcade game where you like tortured people and
Wow.
shot their
I
body
haven't heard
parts off and
about
stuff
that in a
like that?
long time.
Like that's that. I never actually played it. I don't think anybody's actually played
No,
it. Like
but
I
I
think they
remember
made like
yeah.
two of them, but you
Yeah.
see screenshots, right?
Yeah.
But like that's what it felt like, and I was disturbed that this was happening. And I was really happy when the naked
It's
lady
like when they make
stopped
the
appearing.
Custer's Revenge game on a next gen system, and you're like, "This is way more horrible."
Yeah.
I mean that was already pretty
Yes,
horrible. But
like it
Yeah,
really
that
just
took you
felt
to
like
worse
their
than that.
body parts are
Yeah.
scattered from hell to breakfast, and I was getting like almost sickened by the whole experience, and I was really happy when it just went back to like random ninjas and stuff like that. Like it was creepy shit.
does that happen in the
I can't
in the
believe
show?
that people played this game, like play tested this game, beats the shit out of me because I'm
Yeah,
not
when they
putting that
sent
in
it
my
to the
DVD player
ESRB that
anymore.
they didn't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what?
No one cared. Like no one thought to myself, maybe they shouldn't be. First of all, and this gets said a lot to the point where it's becoming cliche.
Yeah.
But really, that's what you wear into battle.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right. They're just
A
extrapolating out from
G-string?
like all the other games.
It's like, how about some chainmail? No, they wear
Or like
yeah,
a
no,
shirt?
exactly. No, they're yeah, anything really, just to soak up the blood.
Right.
But no,
Take a
nothing.
towel with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a G-string and socks.
Oh, okay. They can use the socks to wipe off.
But anyway, point being,
podcast is
I have never been. Yeah.
Horrible.
Sorry.
It's awesome now.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you invited me? And I have never
Sliced
ever
a
been
woman
like
in half with a sword.
creeped out like that by a video game before.
Yeah.
Yeah?
First time.
I mean, Jake, were you telling me this was years ago? Like, I'm going way back here.
You
Like,
talking about Turok?
was that the game? I don't know. I remember a long time ago you were telling me you were playing some game and it, like, for the first time like actually put you off in terms of
Oh yeah, that was Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
The original
On
Turok,
the
where,
Nintendo 64.
like where you cut somebody's neck and
It was
blood.
It was
comes out
it was the
like a
first
fountain.
game that
Yeah.
I'd seen where there wasn't just basically like death animation 1, 2, or 3 that's randomized. That was the
Right.
game where it's like you shoot the guy with the crossbow in the neck and he goes oh and like holds his neck and sort of like slumps down to the ground and it's just like, or you shoot the guy in the knee and he like grabs his knee and falls over like because his knee is like sort of no longer supporting the weight of his body and it's just
Right.
like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person now. Why just make it quick or like just kill a dinosaur?
right.
But
the
they've
dinosaur
upped
does the same thing.
Dinosaur falls over. Fuck! I have kids. What are
And
you doing?
You get the naked dinosaurs coming out.
Well, that's the new Turok. I'm sure is going to be. They're just wearing a G-string,
Yeah, it's weird as playing
like
'cause
flossing.
probably most video games that most of us play consist largely of killing things, which in itself is kind of weird. But there's a certain line.
Well, I
where
mean,
in your own brain,
I mean,
even if not,
even in like a film,
your
there's a
mom's
difference
brain.
between like punching and like knifing a ninja, and then having him do that sort of weird spin thing where he flies off into a dumpster, or like Hostel, where you watch someone get their eye
Right.
pulled out with a pair of pliers.
right,
like-
yeah.
You know, when I got sick recently was Gears of War 2. I was playing it for review, and there's this level where you enter a giant worm. And have you played it, Chris?
No,
'Cause
no,
I'm pretty sure
not
these guys haven't
the
been-
going in the worm.
But you
level.
have to like chainsaw through its arteries, like from within. It's like Pinocchio, but with with chainsaws. And you literally could
Oh, so
spit
it's like
out-
Pinocchio with
I'm probably-
chainsaws.
people are gonna be mad because
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
but
American McGee's Pinocchio.
but at the end of the level, you get spit out, and like you're
Are you
like,
spit out or is
It's
it
a-
like
it's-
spit? Like
It's
which
a,
end?
It's a cinematic. It's like an in-game cinematic.
Oh.
You like tumble
You know,
to the ground. And
what? Like
just
Ace
all the
Ventura?
characters are just like drenched in like blood, just like from head to toe, like,
Guts
just
and shit,
completely
yeah.
fucking disgusting. And I almost
Did they do the
Got a little
shaking off
sick.
dog thing?
yeah, I think they did actually. But
Being grossed out by a worm and video games reminds me of we were just watching a movie. Chris and Steve and I and my friend David, who used to write Throttle Thumbs and now works with me at Telltale, and he was talking about being completely grossed out by Noby Noby Boy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
interesting.
Like he's the I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but there's it's that game where you sort of control a little.
The new
a
Keita
little-
Takahashi
yeah.
game, the guy who made Katamari.
Yeah,
Right.
you play as a weird like tube man who sort of crawls around and like ties. You can tie into knots and you eat things to get longer. But there's this one part in the demo video where he pops out of the chimney and the tube, like your guy is like 100, 200 feet long and this whole like just intestine just goes blah. I mean, it's a sort of cute Japanese illustrated looking
Right,
thing.
right.
Yeah. But
when
he
you-
sees that he like we were watching it on my screen at work and he just went, oh, and like backed away from the screen. And then there's another point a couple minutes later into the video where the guy tries to eat something and misses. And he's got the sort of Katamari style mouth that's just a little square and then turns into a circle
Right.
when it's trying to talk or eat. But when the guy misses, the mouth just turns into this huge circle that then like blips back and forth between like it sort of contracts into a tiny circle and expands over and over again. It's like thing, and it just looks like a gross undulating like flatworm or something like that. And
I don't even.
I don't know, or like a rotifer, but
Okay.
never mind. Rotifera. Anyway, if you want to be grossed out by that game, I could imagine that it would really gross you out. So
Yeah, when we were bringing it up, he was even
was,
just
like,
in his
retching.
memory. He was like dry heaving. It was pretty. It was pretty gross for him. I guess.
But what they need to do is get the Gears of War 2 Foley guys to rescore Noby Noby Boy so that everything sounds like slimy, like weird sort of sticky guts peeling off each other and slopping around all the time.
Sweet. That's what I call a video game.
Yeah, slimy guts.
Yeah.
yep.
Sweet.
So anyway,
Yeah.
So that's Afro Samurai.
Yeah,
Afro Samurai.
I'm glad we went there. Yeah, Afro Samurai. It's gross.
Sweet. Yeah, I got that in the mail today, but I haven't played it yet. But that's too bad that it's not awesome, because they kind of
Sounds awesome.
well, that it's not as awesome as it could have been, and that it's also kind of weird and disturbing and like a little off-putting. I don't know.
That was just one part, though. If you sort of fight your way through the naked ladies, they stop appearing.
Sweet.
So just push
I find that to be true.
Yeah, yes. So Life is a lot like Afro Samurai.
It's kind of like Life. Interesting.
Yep, it has a bad camera.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
that's
What are
definitely
you
true.
talking about?
Yeah, can't argue with that. I think we've all been there. Does that happen in the show? Does he kill a lot of naked ladies in the show? I've never seen the show.
No, as I've said, I'm now not putting that DVD into anything I own.
Fair enough. Sweet.
Because you don't want to look at a naked lady.
Yeah.
Not if she's gonna have her fucking arms cut off.
No, that's
true.
That's the thing. If I can get all academic for a second, I think it's that weird mix of sexualization and violence that's sort of off-putting. It's like, really?
You hate video games?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, apparently if I'm a video game designer, those things in my life are rarely, if ever, separate, I guess. I don't know. But for me, I try to keep them partitioned.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we all enjoy a healthy mix of sexuality and violence, just not at the same time.
Boy, do I.
Same video game.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of interchangeable. I don't really, those are sort of synonyms to me.
Oh, okay.
But, that's another point. Anyway. Nick, I saw on your Twitter feed that you are playing Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 2?
Yeah.
And speaking of sexuality.
Yeah, speaking of it, what?
No, it's just that game is completely devoid of typical video game stuff. So
yeah.
Well,
in what way?
I was so wrong about that game. I feel really bad about it now, actually.
Why?
After 17 weeks or 16 weeks of you guys talking about how great it is, and I finally went and played it, and it's really good. But I have a lot of problems.
Well, what was your initial judgment? Because I don't even remember at this point.
It was just that it was, they just threw you into the game, and it was too difficult, and the weapons weren't effective, and all the things that sort of make the game, good in a way were frustrating at first. And I think that's kind of the problem that I still have with the game. It begins, they just they thrust you into this setting, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, usually games start out fairly easy and then they gradually increase in difficulty. This game it's fucking insanely difficult. Did you not have problems with this game at the beginning of the game?
Not really. I had
guys
an
shooting
unusual
rocket launchers at me within 5 minutes. Yeah. And it just demoralized me. But once you get past that, 2-3 hours, then you start getting better weapons and stuff, and it's pretty awesome. But before that, it's
I must have had a really unusual beginning experience with that game, because everyone complains about the beginning, but I had a great beginning experience with it. I don't know. I started off and I thought it was awesome. I thought the way they
I don't think it held your hand enough. As much as I hate to say that, because I feel like one of the
you want it to be a baby game. Is that what
I wanted that one to be a baby game.
Mr. SimCity Societies isn't complicated enough. Want the baby game.
Speaking of baby games, did you guys see? Well, I think maybe it was you who linked.
Did you see the new babies for DS?
No. The baby.
Oh wait.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Is that what you're going to bring up?
Serious?
Is this is the hidden message?
Yeah, the hidden message.
Okay.
Yeah, Islam. Yeah, some.
No. You have to understand that it's a woman who 4 months ago had purchased a baby doll for her 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And there was this random, string of syllables that the baby uttered that mom decided the baby was saying,
Islam is light.
Islam is the light. Islam is the light.
Right.
So then the local news does a whole big story all about it.
They exclusively talked to her. They declared that it was an exclusive.
Yep, that she was only speaking to WKR whatever.
Gives a shit.
Right. In whatever random city. What? What?
Nothing.
It's something Jake does to be
he just
goes over and touches people.
He just
tries to put you in the game. So
he's like, this segment is going too well. I'm just going to fuck with him.
No, sorry.
All right, good. That'll be the last time that's going to happen.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid of people tapping the table.
So, okay. Oh, okay, all right. So again, not to totally steal your thing, but I'm going to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
4 months later, now, she goes and she buys, what was the game?
Is it
Baby-
like My
Baby
Babies?
Party
or-
Babies,
Pals,
possibly?
maybe?
Baby
Yeah.
Pals, I think that's
Baby
it.
It's by Crave. It's Crave's
Crave
baby game.
Entertainment.
And
Oh.
apparently they use the same public domain sound
Yeah, it
effects
was just a
libraries as
sample,
Baby
yeah.
Doll. Right. And so when you're giving your baby a bath, Islam is the light.
But the thing about like the DS game, the baby was so creepy.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
exactly.
like Islam is the light.
But I mean,
Right.
It's way less distinct than that. But like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's the
Islam
thing.
is
It's
the
not-
light.
the baby's not like, promoting positive images of Islam or
Right.
anything.
But it's one of
God
those things
forbid.
when you hear it, when they say,
please.
yeah,
Watch out.
Right.
yeah.
But it's just the way it's
like
got.
the-
It's just ultimate uncanny valley where it's like this baby's head is going to start spinning around like
Yeah,
fucking The
yeah.
Exorcist. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like,
Like fucking The Exorcist.
Oh, thanks, Jake.
You said it.
Yeah,
I quoted you.
thanks.
Gross, everybody. Gross.
Game material.
Yeah, and it was pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah. But it's like the news does this story and it's like guys, are you even asking the question? Maybe that's not what it's saying. No, the local news was just committed to the bit. They were like,
never
this
once even-
baby is a Muslim.
They never even entertained they didn't bring it up like there's a clip in this game that some people think sounds, which is usually already sensationalistic enough.
Right.
Some people think sounds like Islam, like whatever.
Yeah.
But even that they skipped that step.
And they didn't call Crave either. They called Nintendo,
Right.
who told them, we didn't make the game.
Why don't
and
you
they're
call-
like, but their seal was on the disc.
Right.
Or
They-
like,
no-
case.
But you can
Note how they
clearly
did
see on the front
They
of the box.
They didn't say like, then we
Nintendo.
called Crave. No, they stopped
Yeah,
there.
right. Yeah,
they were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
as soon as they got a no comment from somebody, you didn't make the video game.
Right.
Man,
It was
awesome.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Dog on YouTube says, I love my mommy.
Oh my god, this is so not game related, but I speaking of animals saying things, there's some bird on YouTube that like sings like gospel music. It's pretty amazing.
Really?
Nice.
It like has the whole like little affectations and sort of like fiddly notes. I don't fucking know how to describe this shit, but it was pretty funny.
You guys ever see the bird that like can mimic a like camera shutter and like?
Oh yeah, that
anything it
was
hears?
on Richard Attenborough.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that was amazing. Yeah.
You should get him like. With a
Have you guys
game.
played Pokemon Snap?
Maybe these things will be in Africa
Oh god.
for the PlayStation 3
You
computer
mean
entertainment system.
National Geographic's whatever the hell it's going to be?
Oh, did it get renamed?
Well, yeah. Well, what I saw was like National Geographic released a list of games they were doing, or maybe it leaked or something like that. And it was like, it didn't actually reference that it was Africa, but it was like National Geographic's blah 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 Safari, published by Sony for the PlayStation 3. So
yeah,
apparently
it's clearly that.
they went with
Yeah.
Well, unless Sony made another African Safari game.
Well, that's the
Which
system.
I
I mean,
certainly hope
if you're
not.
an African safari enthusiast, there's only one system for you.
Yep.
I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah, that's why they call it the African Safari Box.
Yeah, all the forums.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the name I've heard them called, PlayStation 3.
In 2015, you're gonna have so much safari going on, you're not gonna know what.
You won't. Yeah, your house will just be covered in crazy trees.
It'll
and
be like
fog.
Jumanji.
Oh, did you guys?
pretty much.
Did I miss this episode? Did I miss the episode in which you talked about like the real
Oh, yeah.
year of
That was
PlayStation
last-
3?
yeah, that was last week. Yeah.
Fuck.
We've determined. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
believe
That would have been
that was
great.
the
I think you can go to year of the PlayStation 3.
Year of the PS3.
Year of the PS3.info, registered by.
El Muerte, I think, from our forums.
Yeah, it's a countdown to 2015 when your PS3 will reach its true potential.
9.5 years later.
Yeah, so get ready.
Yeah, it's pretty good to be sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, get ready. Put your PS3 in the closet now so that it will be properly aged. You can dust it off.
Yeah.
Slide your PS3 PS3 4 and 5, your PS4 and 5.
Well,
And then,
honestly, I mean, or buy two PS3 development kits and duct tape them together, and you can start developing for PS4 right now.
that's true.
Is that true?
Probably.
Maybe.
Hot scoop.
Hot scoop.
PS4 development plans revealed right here on Idle Thumbs.
Yeah.
Pulled from my ass.
Nice. It's the best place to pull them.
But I think that's what they're going to do. I don't see them. No, really, I really do. I think that the next generation is really going to be fought like over features, and that they're probably going to. They're not going to go crazy. They probably will build it
The
around
feature
style.
is it has 2 drive bays, 8 controller ports, 8 processors, 2 network jacks, 2 Wi-Fi cards.
That was no
shit.
That was what PS3
Plug
was.
in 2 different screens.
Wait, that was what PS3 was announced to
I
have.
know.
yeah, that's true, actually. All of those-
Remember that? No. Remember the 2005 E3 conference
yeah.
where they said
Yeah.
you'll be able to play games on 2 screens because it's going to have dual 1080p HDMI
and one of them's a
out.
PSP. That's a separate thing. They also
Yep.
wanted to do. Yeah.
Well, they did that.
I guess they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, the funny.
The rear mirror?
It was
it's
as
funny you
stupid
mentioned
as
all
it
the ports
sounded.
because the thing actually did lose like a third of its ports.
Yeah, oh,
like
yeah.
it had all those.
Oh, yeah.
It had 2 network ports. I
Yep.
think.
It was like a fucking Ethernet hub. It had
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 in the back there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Had all those USB ports. Had all those things. Nothing. None of that.
You
Yeah.
get a lot for $600.
But I
Got a lot of ports. That was it was like $50 a port.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe they're still in there somewhere.
I just
Waiting
got
to be
that.
unlocked.
Was there a joke that was missed?
Oh, I thought you were.
Oh yeah, no, that's what we should start the rumor on the forums that Sony is going to unlock the second HDMI port via software
It's like
in a firmware update.
it's like the orange
The orange hole.
on the Wii. Yeah. Do you guys remember that? I don't know. Jake looks blank.
Every 2 months, somebody would see a picture of the Wii and go, "What's the orange hole for?" And inevitably, somebody would be like, "That's the sensor bar port." And then, like 2 months
okay,
later,
yeah.
But
"What's
maybe-
the orange hole?" It's for the helmet.
I mean, there was a
Oh man,
the
make
Nintendo
games.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play.
There was a similar thing with the
God,
DS, the little square thing that
The secret hole.
That
Yeah.
was the thing you
yeah.
wrote the news update about, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wrote
That's
news
just the
about that
mic
on
port,
Idle
isn't it?
Thumbs, which
Yeah.
which was Iwata like twirling his mustache. Maybe that's a
The
secret.
quote
Yeah.
was like, well, "Who knows what it is? Maybe gamers will find out and be surprised."
Right.
Like what?
What,
You were
gonna-
like, "Is a third screen plug into that?" Maybe
It's like,
it does.
well, it seems to be connected to the headphone jack, and the thing
It
has
looks like a
Wi-Fi.
cell
I
phone
wonder-
headset.
right? Yeah, but what the hell do I know? Yeah,
It's a mystery.
I don't work for Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's VGA
Hey,
out.
segue. Speaking of Iwata,
We call them segs on
Yeah,
this
it's a
podcast.
seg.
hey, Seg, everybody.
Yeah.
Is that what the kids call him?
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Seg. Yo, I got this awesome Seg.
Classic Nick Brecken impression.
Let me hook it up with a Seg. Iwata,
Yeah.
keynoting the GDC.
Oh yeah, Keto and
Dropping the
GDC.
bomb.
Now, Chris, as an employee of Think Services,
Yes.
you must already know what Iwata's going to talk about.
Yeah, he consults with me.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty cool. He sends me his drafts and I edit them. We're buddies.
That's cute.
He's gonna drop a bomb
I
or
knew,
two.
I knew his English wasn't that good. It must have been you.
It was all me. He's several. I can confirm several bombs to be dropped.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. I hope no one actually thinks I confirmed that. Because I fucking am right now. Here we go.
Now how are they going to know ambiguity, man?
Yeah. No, it's cool though. I don't know. He was there in 2006. Did you
Yeah.
guys see? Yeah.
Was that the one that was the Wii exists? Or was that was the one previous? That was 2005.
Yeah, in 2006 he announced Phantom Hourglass and
Yeah,
That's right. And that's when everyone got the Brain Age.
Oh yeah, and he gave us
Yeah,
all
everyone got Brain Age.
Yeah,
That was great.
pretty cool.
I
that
tried
was-
to enter that into Club Nintendo, and where the registration card is, there's a thing saying, "Thanks for coming to GDC." So I couldn't get my goddamn points.
No, I haven't done my points yet. I keep hearing it's all broken.
I don't know. I have points.
I haven't even done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So, Megaton number 1, Club Nintendo points to be fixed.
Sweet.
That's what he's going to come out and announce that.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that the GDC audience really does overlap with like what hardcore gamers want out of a speech, which
Yeah,
is like
it's true.
awesome news
It's
announcements. Because
unfortunately true.
what is the GDC audience but a bunch of crazy hardcore gamer Nintendo fans?
2005, they went over all the specs of the Wii, though.
Yes, they did.
I mean, that was like, here's what the system actually is beyond this, or I guess nothing was known at that point. They hadn't shown the controller or anything, but they basically said,
Yeah.
here are the
Yeah.
features it's going to have. It's going to have Wi-Fi. It's going to have
Right.
Yeah.
DVD. It's going to have this and this and this. It's going to have an online downloadable content portal. I mean, that stuff was stuff that developers wanted to hear.
Right.
And it was that talk was also Iwata talking about his history at Nintendo and what he was going to bring as the president of
That was
one
a
of
really
the
good-
great
that was a really
greatest
good one,
console
actually,
manufacturers.
yeah.
I thought that was, and everyone went apeshit over that. I thought that was a super good talk to be giving at GDC.
Yeah.
But the next year was something that could have happened at GDC or at E3 or fucking E for all. Like it could have at TGS. It wasn't a talk aimed at the development community. It was a talk aimed at the press and at the inner nerds inside the developer community, which is fine because GDC is also sort of become the conference that's just about why games are fucking cool and not why games make you want to quit. Which is what E3 is about. But so that's fine. But at the same time, it was weird. I'm always bummed out in general when GDC panders to the press.
Yeah.
And when GDC
I
sort of
agree with
panders to
that.
fanboys, because that's not what the show is about.
Yeah.
And that makes me a pretentious douche, probably, in the minds
fine.
of many readers.
I'll take that. I completely see where you're coming from.
And I thought that before I worked in games, also. I'll just throw
Yeah.
that out there.
No,
when I was there as press,
Yeah, yeah.
also I thought that. So.
Yeah.
Keynote
All
greatest
your
hits.
impressions of GDC 2006.
One
My
GDC, I don't
favorite
remember what
keynote.
year this was. I guess it was 2006, maybe it was 2007, was when Sony unveiled Little Big Planet. Like
2007.
Yeah.
that was a pretty sweet way to like unveil a product and also make developers excited about development.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing that sort of spoke to like a potential broader trend that could be explored in game development and could be
And they
sort
also announced Home.
of oh yeah, that
Right.
Well, yeah.
Hey, you know what? At the time, it was like,
At
holy
the time,
shit,
it
that's
was
awesome.
way more. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of those two things ended up being way sweeter than the other.
Right.
I'll leave it to you.
Not gonna
the
say
reader,
which.
today. Yeah, it's a mystery. But
Write in with what you think your answer
Yeah.
is.
I mean, do you guys remember? I mean, were you guys all there? Do you guys remember how fucking
My
sweet
first
it was
day
when?
Yeah.
working in this industry.
Oh yeah, that was when
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that was when I. Yeah.
I didn't
Soon
see that
after you were
keynote,
hired
but
to check.
I
Yeah.
saw the video on the web.
Yeah, well, when they were all like on the skateboard together, like Phil Harrison and like
Yep.
whoever else were like skating down the hill, I'm
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah,
is
no, that was
video
awesome.
game. Good job, guys. This is a sweet. And then like we were over here at my apartment when it came out doing that exact same thing, and it was totally sweet. Good job. Like you win, guys. Well, maybe not, but like you definitely succeeded with this game.
Right.
So.
Right. And you know what? You know, if you bat 500, that's you get in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
There you go.
So there you go.
So Sony is officially in the Baseball
Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, they're a video game company.
They might have to star next to them, though.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, you guys want to take a break?
Yeah.
Sure.
You take breaks?
We take a
Yeah.
break.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Video game.
That was an extremely fast talking 35 minutes. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to perform a song really quick here?
I mean, I could do the retarded piano thing with that guy's thing.
It's been done.
Yeah.
know if that needs to be
Just play play Sincerely These Nuts backwards during this break.
Video game.
We're back. What?
totally back from
We're
break.
back.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Say it again, Jake.
We're back.
We're still back.
Games.
And Chris Kohler wants to tell us about a duel or something.
Yes.
He
what
smacked
will
a guy
be
with
referred
a
to.
glove and
Yeah.
Yeah, I lit a homeless guy on fire.
nice.
That's a
Good story.
Thank you.
Strange way of
That's a
starting
duel,
yeah.
I guess. I had a duel. Right. I lit a homeless guy on fire.
He didn't see it coming at all. It's like, that's not a duel.
I think you misunderstand the nature,
I think you just killed a
It's like-
guy.
no,
You killed
no.
a hobo.
I looked it up on Wikipedia, and I think it qualifies. So that's my story.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good times.
So, and
Also,
thanks,
what
thanks for
happened?
being on the show. Oh.
History will refer to this as the War of the Inside Sources. Look, I'm not tapping the table, all right, Mister. Ruin all of my fun.
Wait, put on the cop glasses,
duel.
then you'll look more authoritative. Jake is putting on the cop glasses.
Okay.
Doesn't
Yeah.
he look like a cop?
Now
Yeah,
it's
you
back
look
last
totally
time.
authoritative now.
Yeah.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway,
All right.
you have a story that's
All right, I'm
real.
gonna sit on my
PlayStation
hands.
stuff.
Okay. The War of the Inside Sources.
Okay.
IGN, a couple of days ago, ran a story that said that it had heard from its inside sources close to Sony that Sony was readying the PSP 2,
Okay.
and that they would be close to announcing, details about the PSP 2 in some sort of near future. They said PSP 2 is indeed on the horizon and will be packing multi-touch technology,
shit.
widescreen multi-touch interface
I
comparable
think
to that
Apple
of the
patented
iPhone.
that like today or something.
They did, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah, fair enough.
that it's going to hold up or
Yeah.
what. Yeah, exactly. You can get a patent for goddamn anything.
Yeah.
Right?
I patented hot scoops, so
Yeah.
people keep breaking those all the time. So
Yeah. Well, no, I keep getting those subpoenas from you, and I just keep
Yeah.
putting them in the garbage.
Was that like a site-to-site journalist burn, or was that just...
I don't know.
no,
You're just being retarded.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway,
People
go
are going to
ahead.
read too much into that. Now this on its own would be unremarkable. Sources close to Sony say a lot of things all the time, but
Sources close to people like to talk.
right, yeah, not the people themselves, but the
the
sources
ones
that are close to
close.
them.
Yeah.
Right, like on National Enquirer,
The
where
ones
it's
that are
like,
close to you.
They hurt you the most. Also, they report on your exclusive news.
If you love something, set it free so it can't tell anybody what your exclusive news is.
Yeah.
Make it sign a non-compete clause and an NDA
Right.
if you love somebody.
So, what ends up happening that actually makes this a story is that MCV, the UK
Because fuck
industry
multi-touch on the
website-
PSP. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
basically yes.
Oh,
They said IGN had this story. Well, we also have an inside source that's close to Sony.
Okay, so they're close too. Just making sure.
Right. Well, I mean, it could be inside, close. Well, actually, they said it was close to, but then at the end of the quote, their inside source referred to Sony as we. So apparently they're very close.
So
No, not W-I, but W-E, as in the first person plural.
Their inside source referred to the Nintendo Wii.
They called Sony we.
Right.
Wink, wink. No, they referred to Sony as us.
But this was a British publication, so they actually meant Sony's a penis. That's no. Okay.
No.
They meant okay. So
Thanks. What they end up.
So they are Sony.
Are we back to Noby Noby Boy? So what ended up happening was their inside source basically said that these other guys' inside source is a jackass doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, snap.
This is what MCV's inside source said specifically. This is the inside source.
Okay.
Clearly, being a quiet time of year, many what we thought to be credible websites are making up stories about
snap.
PSP2. Yeah, right?
Jesus.
Sick burn on IGN.
Yeah.
From Inside Guy.
From Inside, are making up stories about PSP2 and how it allows you to teleport across the globe, travel through time, and will be powered by the horns of baby rhinoceroses.
Wow, there's an IGN reporter who's going to be really disappointed that shit is not coming true. Because that'd be a sweet exclusive.
That's a headline right now on IGN, I think. And then the source goes on, hopefully you can sense a mild tone of sarcasm.
Does it also say Islam is the light?
That was in the third paragraph that not a lot of people reported on. And they said, hopefully you can sense a mild tone of sarcasm, which should hopefully indicate how, quote, on the money IGN are. Needless to say, we don't comment on rumor or speculation, but this is nonsense.
We don't comment on rumor, but this rumor is not true.
Is ridiculous. What about the rumor that PlayStation 3 will be blah blah blah? No comment. It's like you can't say we don't comment on rumors or speculation
after
and then only comment on the ones after you've commented and then go on to comment on it.
Yeah.
Like it seems like that was almost thrown in there to make it seem like that whole thing could be like a fabrication.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
wait, and
that guy likes to eat shit and fuck his mom. Also, Sony Computer Entertainment does not comment on rumors or speculation.
That's
said this source that I didn't just make up and paste that boilerplate on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
I do love when
all
PR
that
people,
shit was an anonymous source.
All of that was an anonymous source.
Jesus.
Who knew enough to give the
two anonymous
PR line about
Since when do anonymous sources say we don't comment on
rumors or speculation?
Why are you the anonymous source then?
Why are you speaking? Are you speaking for all anonymous sources when you say that? I think anonymous sources comment all the time on rumors.
There's a guild.
Right.
You can't leak a story until you pay your dues.
It's the cabal of anonymous sources. They actually all meet together in a pub.
Right.
Now I think this is from England for some reason. You ruined everying.
It is from England.
It's MCV. So
it's MCV.
It's from England. That's why I said that.
That explains it.
Yeah. But this bizarre go back and forth on, well, we've got our inside source, and they say that your inside source is a stupid head.
My inside source could beat up your inside source.
It's pretty ridiculous. That's way more vicious than inside sources close to development usually.
It's in Senor Super Douche territory, though.
It is, yeah.
Except that wasn't anonymous.
Yeah,
that
was anonymous.
Very not anonymous. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I think you kind of blew your cover again when you referred to Sony as like the company that I work for. It's like,
right. It doesn't.
I was talking to my boss, Jim.
Jim
Wait a minute.
T.
Yeah.
Actually, let me just call him J. Thompson. Like, what?
His boss is Jack Thompson?
Jack Thompson doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't work for Sony unless
or
he knows something.
Who do you think that anonymous source close to development has been? It's all coming together.
It's always
all
Jack Thompson.
sliding into place.
This is a good JT.
Yeah. Wow.
Thompson.
Mm-hmm. If you look on
JT Thompson, frequently confused with Jack Thompson. John Thaddeus Thompson. What the hell are we talking about?
We were talking about the PSP2.
Yeah.
Which I still think Sony is going to announce this year.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Yep.
At their GDC keynote.
Yeah, wouldn't be a terrible place to talk it up.
Yeah, terrible place.
Yeah. Get ready for that.
I will.
But probably E3.
I mean, the PSP is actually doing pretty well, like as a hardware device,
as a doorstop. What's your qualifier here?
Well, I'm just saying the actual hardware itself is selling decently.
It's selling more than the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's selling more than the PlayStation 3 is.
So
I guess that's not. Well, maybe it's
So
not.
you can watch
I don't know.
Spider-Man on the go.
Yeah.
A Talladega Nights.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever played one.
Really?
Yeah.
I played
There's
one
my
at
confession. My game.
What?
I don't
Wait.
think I've ever set hands on a PSP.
Wow.
You haven't played like Lumines? Because that game was
No.
sweet.
No.
You can play it on
I
Xbox
played it
Live
on
though.
the PC, I think, for
Yeah.
a second.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
fair
They're a
enough.
lot lighter now,
Oh, yeah, right.
but you wouldn't know.
You would.
I actually,
No.
you know what's weird? I don't like that it's lighter. It feels like it's going to break or something. I don't like
Okay.
light. Like I had the same
like
problem
your
with
PSP
this.
contains mints now.
I had the same problem with the 6-axis. Like I much prefer the DualShock 3, not just because of the rumble, but just because it's heavier. I don't know. I like feeling like it's not going to crumple.
All right.
You're actually going to say because it was
You
full
like
of
the Game
mints
Gear?
after I said that.
I prefer the DualShock because it's full of mints. I'm sorry. What?
I don't know. I was just about to say, like, maybe you're just underneath that sweater vest, a totally ripped specimen of mankind. That
Versus you can't lift the DualShock.
I can.
That battery in there. Oh,
I like the PSP being lighter. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough.
If
That's
that
fine.
reflects poorly on my manliness,
You
then well.
asshole. No, that's fair enough.
whoa! There's multiple
much.
cross-table rumbles on this podcast.
Yeah. Well,
Not-
then we're also we even reported on a duel. So
Mhm.
this is the duel episode.
That's
I hope
true.
you enjoy
Oh,
it.
we found our theme.
Yeah, there you go. The
Duels.
Duels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is really, really weird.
Sounds like
And this might completely fizzle and have because it's completely out of the blue. But remember last week when I was like, I was going to say something about story and Mirror's Edge and stuff, and then I just forgot.
yeah.
Boring.
All right, it might actually be boring.
No, I'd love to hear your thoughts about story in Mirror's Edge.
Thanks, Jake.
Let's listen.
I was just going to say, because we were talking about Portal and how that story is just sort of like this long, continuous, ongoing thing, as opposed to like interjected, like the way most video game story is in
Right.
cutscene. Like,
Yeah.
I was
Less defined, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's that cutscene when you go through the elevator and then GLaDOS is there, but like facing away from you, looking out the window, like hands behind her back, and you know that some like serious double crossing is going to go down.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't see that coming
Yeah.
in that game.
You turn around and there's like a henchman behind you, and then you have to fight him.
Are you gonna?
Did you
Dropping
did we
the
play
bombs.
the same game?
Yeah, you guys, I don't know, it's Portal?
All right. Anyway.
Yeah,
So-
because it sounds a lot like Afro Samurai.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
GLaDOS, took her shirt off and
You
chopped
slice
her
off her
arms
limbs.
The internet really wants to play this version of Portal, sadly. Oh, God. I'm sorry. That was, no, that isn't, no. I'm talking about the one with the Mirror's Edge story.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I was just gonna say, like, an interesting thing that Patrick Redding, who was the narrative designer on Far Cry 2, brought up is the idea of story in games being used more like as a texture in a sense. So sort of the role of the story designer or a writer in a video game being closer to that of an artist, where you're trying to create like things that will add to the player's experience, but are not like present in big blocks. Like BioShock actually did a lot of that really well by sort of just painting the story throughout the levels. Like the audio logs admittedly are a bit of a sort of like Deus Ex Machina kind of thing where they're just there. It's like, oh, I guess someone recorded themselves and put it on the ground. But whatever, I don't know. Until someone finds out a better way to do that makes more sense within the fiction, it's still, I think, a much preferable way to deliver a story in a game. Like it's no less ridiculous to me than just like having these forced cutscene segments all the time.
Right.
And it was just it was an interview I did a while ago, so it's I don't know if I remember all the nuances, but it was just an interesting proposal that he made of sort of trying to create games that deliver story in ways that is just like woven into the environment. And it's I don't know, I thought it was interesting. It'd be an interesting thing to explore. I would like to see someone do, like, speaking of GDC, I'd like to see him, I guess, do like a GDC talk where they tried to like nail down some actual principles or sort of compile the ways people have done that successfully.
Right. Yeah, because now the thing is actually like coming up with techniques that that are proven that you know ways to actually do that.
Right.
But I absolutely agree with this. I mean, I think we're going to look back in 20, 30 years at stories and games right now and just be like, well, how silly were we? Just trying to cram movies into games, like round peg into a square hole.
Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
One random thing about Far Cry 2,
Yeah.
just it was kind of interesting how fast the dialogue was.
Yeah,
like,
isn't that weird? Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I can understand why they did it though, because they're just trying to speed that that whole
right. They may have misjudged
up.
slightly.
It's probably
I think
also
so.
a reaction
It comes
to
off a little.
NPCs in so many games are talking at the most false, stupid volume.
Right.
Yeah.
Go down there, and then once you get there, you'll see a thing.
Yeah.
Find that thing, and
That Assassin's Creed has that problem all the time. I actually beat Assassin's Creed the other day for some reason. I stuck it through to the end.
Wow, yeah.
And it punished me for doing so.
There's something about it. Yeah, there's something about Assassin's Creed. It was the same thing with me. It was like, yeah, I'm going to play this thing. I was reviewing it, but I stuck.
There was something about it.
But like, even
I was obligated to finish it for my job.
Yeah, but even then, not necessarily. Like, I could have stopped after a few, not a few assassinations, but like if I had stopped after like 6 or 7 out of 10, I could have written the review. But I mean, there was
really
just
could have, and it would have been
more,
exactly.
Oh yeah, no, exactly, totally.
It
Well,
would have been a better review.
I am glad that I stuck through to the end, because the end of the game, as you know now, takes a wild left-hand turn, and it becomes just about like.
They also forgot to end it.
They did,
or did they?
No,
find out soon.
No, they definitely forgot.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah,
they didn't even. They forgot to be continued it because.
No, there's no. Okay. You get to the end.
Can you just fucking spoil the end of Assassin's Creed if there isn't one?
I think at this point, yeah,
it's fucking old.
You can just spoil it.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to do it.
Well, okay,
do it. Do it.
Just work out the courage.
You get to a point like. You go into like this vision mode that allows you to see writing on the wall in your apartment, your weird like sterile apartment thing. And then as soon as you do that, the character's like, wow, what does this mean? And then you see the credits.
Right.
And it just goes like, there's not even like.
You weren't intrigued to find out the secret of the writing?
I thought people like.
Did you get the bad ending?
Weren't people talking about like,
No, I looked on YouTube. There's only one ending.
There were cryptic things, but then they quickly decoded all of them, and they don't actually really mean that much of anything.
Right.
Like it's
actually
clues to like where the next game is going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And the funny thing is, well, I guess it's not funny, but it was irritating that after the credits and you just go back in the room, and then if you want, you can like go back into the little computer chair and go into your mind again and whatever, and finish collecting all the flags if you want. But there's no closure. I kept trying to figure out how to make the game actually end, because it didn't hit some point of like there was never a climax there ever, or like I guess the plot kind of ends, I guess, but it was so just vague and weird and like.
When I say crazy left turn, I was talking about the gameplay, in which a game that up to this point had been about assassinating guys suddenly became about fighting off. Oh yeah,
that was awful.
Dudes,
and they just gate it every time. So every time you run like 20 feet, then they lock off. You can't go forward anymore, and then they throw 30 guys at you. It's like what? What?
And then the final boss fight is like a fight. It's like against 30 guys.
That's totally Sands of Time style. That was the part of
more of like an RPG or something.
Oh yeah,
that's why do people do that? Raped me in half.
Another Ubisoft game, weird, made at Ubisoft Montreal. They like that.
Yeah, that's their go-to, I guess.
It's their
game's
thing.
About to end. Lock you in a room with 1 million dudes.
Get out of this.
That sounds like my kind of game.
You're gonna beat our game, huh? No, you're fucking not.
Yeah,
there's 100 dudes.
I don't know why I completed it. I was already.
The classic Sausage Fest ending.
Yeah.
It's like going to the sausage factory.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I don't know. I was just pissed off at that game.
Did you have a point there?
No, not really. I forget what.
We were talking about stories and how Assassin's Creed is not a subtle story.
You should be here more often, because that would have just fallen off and gone away. We would have gotten an angry reader mail about it.
I'm good at rewinding.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Wish you.
No.
No, don't do that. Don't.
What?
Don't do that. It's not funny.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't even know, and he thinks it's not funny. That's how unfunny it is. Anyway, so.
Do you ever wish you could rewind time?
Yes. Anyway, Assassin's Creed. It was weird. I don't know. I suspect we'll get some reader defenses of it, which is fair enough.
I thought we were talking about the story and.
People are
we're talking about the story.
We were just talking about story. I wasn't actually talking about Mirror's Edge. That was just the game we happened to be talking about last week when that came up. I wasn't specifically, but I mean, like you said last week, it would have been really cool if, or maybe Nick said this actually, like
if it was cool, I said it.
All right, well, whatever. How in Mirror's Edge, which is a game that is about gameplay that is, when it's good, so elegant and so stripped down and so just completely in its element. It would have been really nice if the story was equally elegant instead of just ham-handedly like here's a shitty flash cutscene every 20 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's a lesson I guess pretty much all game developers. It's not one that's been solved yet, really. I guess so. It's not. I mean, I don't really think anyone's completely figured that out.
A lot of people aren't going out of their way to try and solve it, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and people don't really seem to mind either. That's I mean, that's like
I think
a
there's a lot of
larger
developers
issue.
that don't mind. There's a lot of players that don't mind. But that's one of those things. There's a lot of things like that in games. Just I think as a medium that's new, but also has a lot of established stuff because it's been around for a decent amount of time. There's stuff that's just accepted.
Yeah.
But then if you as a player or developer or writer sort of catch one of those out, it's really depressing.
Can you give any examples?
I mean, most of the time that I end up dealing with that stuff or thinking about it is really small shit that no one cares about because it's like UI or like player interaction stuff. But I mean, like the biggest example in the entire goddamn world was with Half-Life 1, I think, where just the notion of not cutting the camera away.
Oh yeah,
right, yeah.
And then you're like, oh fuck, well, no one missed this before it existed, but now that someone pointed out that is
true.
retarded, everyone's like, oh well, obviously that's completely retarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, there's just all sorts of tiny things.
Although,
like, I mean,
very few games actually adhere to that.
Right, but I mean, it's now a thing that people think about, and things are rated against that. And like, I mean,
true.
really, really, like when you get more minute, the notion of when you're playing a third-person game where you can see your character, when you flip them around to actually have the character turn. I mean, that's
instead of just appear in the other direction.
That's one that people probably don't notice and just comes across as, quote, the graphics are better. But I mean, there's all those little things, just little big and small points of interaction that are just sort of taken for granted because that particular piece of game design was never iterated on. But then whenever someone looks at that and finds that there's a little gap there and fills it with something good or like takes advantage of a new piece of technology or something, it's always super exciting. And it's weird that like that doesn't happen in film or books at this point where it's like
people pretty much figured that shit out.
Yeah, all the little holes that you can fill with a piece of content or an interaction or a player moment versus a totally authored moment. It's interesting that whenever one of those things gets addressed.
That is one of the things that is pretty awesome about being into games at this point in history. Just because, I mean, 10 years ago. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome and frustrating. But I think it's more awesome than frustrating, except in the areas like story where it's like, Jesus, I really don't think very many people are actually like meaningfully progressing here. It's like there are a lot of more technical areas and interactive areas that are like there's just been huge as much as there are definitely certain eras when certain qualities in games I like were more present than they are now. Mm-hmm. Overall, like sort of just the average kind of game design aptitude seems to clearly be on the rise. So that's pretty cool. But
I don't know why I think this, but I feel like sort of integration of narrative elements and integration of sort of, even if not a direct story, but the sort of just tone and moments that you get out of having a sort of coherent world with some sort of events happening in it, I think that stuff is going to get better in the next few years.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with that, though, right, I mean, as it stands, is that you can't see that stuff in a trailer, you know what I mean? Or a commercial. Like that stuff doesn't play just to somebody.
Immersiveness, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those aren't elements that somebody who's just casually into games is going to notice in the stuff that gets...
Right, but I mean,
maybe
like you can sell that stuff.
Demo trailer reels before you play your game.
I guess, but I mean, we were talking when JP LeBreton was on about how BioShock was sold totally on its tone and its style.
Yeah.
And yet a lot of the coverage of that game though was pretty combat oriented. Yeah, but, I mean, especially in the latter.
The publisher
half
pitched it that way too.
I agree. That's how it was really pitched to me. Like
that's fine, but I mean, I think anything that game got outside of the people who regularly read the sites that you guys write for was not because of the gun mechanics or because of the plasmids or anything. It was because that game looked fucking crazy and had like the trailers with the crazy Art Deco monster drilling your hand, or with Andrew Ryan's weird, like Orson Welles style voiceover. At least that's the people that I know who were interested in that game. I mean, wouldn't give a shit that you.
But again, I think there are probably a lot of kids out there who saw the commercial and like guys shooting stuff.
That's probably true too. But I mean, I don't know.
I still think that was in spite of the way that they approached the press about it. Because the way that they approached the press about it was always about like you can kill the big daddies by setting these traps, and you can do this, and you can do that, and you have this weapon and that weapon, and you got to think about all these things you're doing with the splicers. And
I'm sure that stuff sold a fucking load of that game too.
It did. I mean, that's the best part about BioShock is that it had that great gameplay. So you weren't telling people, you weren't saying to people like, oh, hey, it's got a great story, you should play it, even though the gameplay. If
BioShock
sucks.
looked like a Call of Duty game, and if the dialogue in it, and if the events, and if the trailers were all cut like that, no one would have given a shit about that game.
That's probably true. I mean, I don't think nobody would have, but I think that
maybe
definitely
Call of Duty with plasmids would be kind of hilarious.
Right.
But,
I think I've heard. I mean, I've heard of like internal review done on sort of people who have bought that game, and a pretty decent number of them, like maybe a third or something, said they bought it because of how it looked and sort of just that as opposed to like I heard you can shoot a guy this way or something. I don't know.
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's encouraging, and I think people overlook that a lot. And I think that is, I mean,
I also don't think you can sell a game entirely on that.
No,
it's an example we brought up before. Like,
Right.
But I guess I was speaking more just
Right.
specifically about like audio logs or something like that. Like you're talking more about the atmosphere and the
But
art
see, but that's-
style
I mean,
and
I
things
think
like
that all
that
goes
stuff,
together,
if all that
though.
stuff
Like
goes
that-
hand in hand.
yeah.
That's if you're.
I would rather see that stuff improve than the quality of plot improve. Like I would rather see games overall just be more sort of have more attention paid to the vibe of the world and how the world interacts with the player and the the tone you get from it. Like that's more important than
It sucks when the tone of a game ends with like the lighting model and
exactly right.
like what?
Yeah.
But then it still has a shitty story and it has bad voice acting and like poor character performances. Or alternatively, I don't know, the game that looks really nice in those regards, but is stupid.
Can we talk about Killzone 2 yet? I think is the embargo this week or next week? Do you know?
I think it's next week.
God damn it!
Sorry.
All right. Well, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Killzone 2 might be tangentially related to this conversation.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Hot scoop.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think that I don't know. It's an area that is like a thing GDC is actually really good for, is calling out stuff like that and excited about trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Obviously that stuff moves slowly, but coming up, GDC is coming up. GDC is like that 1 week of the year where I'm like, yeah, the video game industry. This is
so
exciting.
Cool.
This
Everyone's
is
making
great.
cool stuff.
Hey,
Everyone wants to make new
talking
things,
about
man.
cool things. People are creative. This is great.
Yep.
And then I look at the NPD like the week after, and I'm like, oh, fucking whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway. Oh man, we wanted to talk about Matt Hazard. I think.
Oh, right.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Hazard.
Do we have to?
I guess we don't have to.
No.
No. Yeah,
There were Matt Hazard videos released this
There
week.
were.
Yeah.
there were.
They were kind of cool.
They were all right, yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna play great. I mean,
What is your
How
pre-release
long can
opinion on Matt Hazard stand at this point, Chris? Because you were extremely dubious of it. Do you continue to be dubious?
I continue to be dubious. I'm a little less dubious of the presentation. Like when I first saw this game, I thought it was not interesting at
The
all.
presentation does do a good job of sort of holding its own with getting the look correct of the sort of game that it's trying to rip.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's very, very like extremely overt, straightforward parody of Wolfenstein 3D, Final Fantasy.
Right.
Like what else? I don't even remember other stuff, I guess.
But I mean, I think they also landed the sort of
No, they did a good job.
Riddick and Gears of War look that they're going for. Like I was worried that the core itself would look like a generation or two back, which would then make the whole thing sort of fall apart.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they are going for the current like Gears of War style, like big, thick guy with a gun, taking cover.
And, you can sort of make up for that stylistically what you lose in terms of
actual fidelity.
Yeah.
And they do have cool things like the Wolfenstein 3D guys actually being sprites.
Nice.
Which is pretty hilarious.
Nice.
I mean, that's pretty goddamn great.
And the thing that we had all brought up was there's a video of a battle against a Final Fantasy-ish, but actually the game that the guy comes from is Penultimate Illusion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he just talks in text boxes.
Yeah.
And so there's
a
all
big
these
A
text
button
boxes.
on the
There's
screen.
an A button that Matt Hazard is like pressing and pressing and pressing, and he's like, "Oh my god, shut up!" And he goes on and on and on. It's funny.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I still think the actual gameplay of the game is a little shaky looking.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean,
That's
shooting a
kind of the
giant
problem.
sprite is
that would have been a funny
Well, I don't mind that, but
moment.
No, but I mean,
because that's funny though. Like I'm just talking
funny
about
the first
it looks
time,
like the way the
yeah.
character controls. Like I'm talking about the absolute low level. Like you moving your guy around shooting dudes. Like looks. Just for I don't know. Did you guys get that sense at all? Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. It just didn't seem like it was that solid.
Here's the thing. I mean, for me, if the game is that funny all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, I'll forgive iffy gameplay if it's taking me from point to point and I'm enjoying myself in these cutscenes and it's the level of humor is kept up.
Am I allowed to say that I didn't find the dialogue all that engaging?
No, please say it.
The Final Fantasy
You can
guy?
say whatever you want. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
No, you have no permission to say that.
I work for a company that makes games with jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a butthole. Like I don't write that stuff, but I don't know. It seemed.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I think it could
Jake,
get old.
with
I think
an
the joke
opinion,
could
sort
get
of.
old.
I don't know. Well, I liked the premise well enough, but it just it was just.
Well, here's
You guys love using an ellipsis.
Yeah, I mean that stuff always can get
most
very
things
quickly,
in games. I mean, including some of the stuff in a Telltale game. I often wish that maybe half the conversation would be removed, whether or not it's funny video game dialogue or serious video game dialogue. You can cut half of it.
That's a fair comment. Pretty much always in every video game.
And it becomes even more painful to me when it's what is a joke.
Well, again, now I'm not saying that I was like rolling on the floor, but
it was amusing.
Here's the issue.
When it's exposition, you can be through it because it's fucking exposition in a game. But if you're playing the game to be hearing comedy, if you're right clicking or being through a joke,
right,
that's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Well, again, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But
I mean, people are free to do that to a Telltale
My
game.
issue with this video is that this seemed like one of the coolest scenes in the game, and I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Like when I actually play the game and this happens, it's not going to be like, oh, haha, what a clever idea. It's going to be like, oh, right, I saw this in that video.
Yeah.
And like you guys are talking about shit. I watched that one video. I'm like, wait a minute, why would I want to watch all these like 10 videos that are just going to spoil everything good about this game?
Well, that's also like the danger with any parody thing, like, scary movie or whatever horrible bullshit, where it's like,
right.
They successfully lampoon a few things maybe, and they put it in the trailer, and then you see it, and you're like, Jesus, is it just 2 hours?
Well, I mean, I think that's
fucking
tough
this?
for any
Christ.
narrative thing that is contingent on jokes.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if it's like,
But I think
especially if it's a combination of a joke thing and a sort of adventurous tale of like what events will happen. Fuck, I don't want to know that because it's a spoiler. What jokes are in this? Okay, here's the jokes. What are you going to show for Matt Hazard? Here's the gun mechanic, which you apparently don't like. So,
well, I mean, I don't know if I like it. I haven't played it, but I'm just saying it just seems,
shoddy,
it just looks a little,
a little shoddy.
Yeah.
like a shotgun. Anyway, well, we'll see. Whatever.
Games.
Yeah, we should probably move on to some reader mail. We're
It's
not
time
gonna
for
have any
reader mail.
Oh, right.
All right.
Dear Chris Kohler,
They know.
You're not on this podcast, but I just wanted to write just in case you ever were.
Sweet. Okay. Oh, wow. Well, here we go.
Okay.
Craig Ostrin writes, "Hey guys, sorry I don't have a new domain for you. That's okay, Craig. I just wanted to hear more about your opinion on storytelling in games." Done!
Wow.
Yeah. Sweet. I can't think, he continues, I can't think of more than a couple games that I remember for their story. What do you think is standing in the way of better stories in games? Man, I think we even sort of addressed
covered.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, and keep up the great
more
work.
GDCs.
Love the show. Thanks. Well, we're
right.
totally
Great.
crushing it, I
We're
guess.
rocking it, yeah.
Check.
So good, man. That guy's email effectively saved 6 minutes on this podcast.
Yeah. This guy. Okay, this is a question we probably don't want to address. I have
What do
to
you
read
think about anonymous sources?
yeah. Well, I mean,
Wait
sort
a
of. I have to
minute.
read or scan a lot of the games press in my job, and it fills me with a gaping black void of despondent resignation.
GOTY.cx.
Most of it consists of slightly rephrased press releases with almost no investigation, analysis, or context. Why does the game industry seem to suffer such a deficit of good criticism and journalism? David Hayward.
Why are some games writers stupid? Why do some people apply for games writing's job the same way that people apply for a game QA job? I don't know. These are questions that probably shouldn't be addressed. Some games writers are good and try and care, and some are poop.
Yep, it's true. Okay. El Muerte, who registered year of the PS3.info, writes, "Back in the day when I still regularly read game reviews, the replay value was often a criteria in the review. Maybe it is, but I don't read many these days." He goes on a little while. He says replay value is, of course, most important for single-player games. I don't really agree with that. And you could replay the game right after you finished it, or replay it months, if not years after, etc. Okay, so he has a story. He says, a while ago I tried to replay Crusader No Remorse, a game I liked back in 1995. It wasn't the first replay of the game, but it was the last time I played it was over 10 years ago. It took me some time to get it working in DOSBox. After a while of playing the game, I found the gameplay and controls quite awful. They felt very rough, almost like there was something wrong with my setup. But after digging around in my memory, I discovered the game was always like this. So the game I loved playing 10 years ago now feels unplayable to me. It almost ruined my fond memories of the game. Now I'm hesitating to replay various other games. So his questions are, what do you think about replay value? Has your view on replay value changed? 2, what games, if any, have you replayed multiple times? What made them so special? 3, did you ever have a similar replay experience I described above with Crusader No Remorse? I have had that with Crusader No Remorse, because that game does not age very well, but it was awesome at the time, so yes.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what some video game reviews or some video game websites actually do break out replay value as like something that they score
I think that's
individually.
bullshit, personally.
I honestly have no idea what that even means. It's like, I mean, how is that separate from fun? If a game is fun, you can replay it. I mean, maybe it's like, do things change in the game? Can you replay it a second time and do things differently?
But that's a plus if the game has it, not a minus if it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's like
games should all have multiple branching paths.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's stupid to me.
Well, I mean, I guess I could see, just saying, look, I mean, the next time you play this game, it's going to be exactly like it is the first time. But I mean, I feel like that's sort of rolled all up into, is the game fun or not? Like, only if you like playing games multiple times. I don't.
Did Eternal Darkness get a higher or lower replay value when it was revealed that you had to play the single player campaign through 3 times to get the
That's the thing. You know what? It probably got a high replay value because you have to play it again 2 times. But
alternatively, if you actually do play it all 3 times and get to what is the real end of the game, you're never going to want to touch that game ever again.
Yeah,
Or are you going to want to play it 1,000,000 times?
Well, actually, then it unlocks Eternal mode after you do that, and then you can play it with unlimited energy and whatever.
So maybe you'd want to just keep playing it forever.
Replay value 1 billion. This game
that's the
wins.
thing. I actually did play Eternal Darkness 3 times because I wanted to see the real ending. But I kind of liked Eternal Darkness, and it was like fun to watch the cinema scenes over again. But that doesn't necessarily mean it has more replay value than Super Mario Galaxy.
I would say on the other side of that is Full Throttle, which people ripped on to all shit when it came out for only being 5 or 6 hours long.
Yeah, I've replayed that game more than any other.
I've probably played that game more than any other game ever.
Right.
Yeah, same here.
And in part because it's a short linear thing not because it's short or linear, but just
but that makes it easy to replay again. You're like, if I want to spend a couple hours playing through Full Throttle, that was sweet, probably the best writing in any video game. Like, I'll play that.
Yeah, when I see like something and it says like in a review that does not touch on I replayed the game and this is what happened, when I see at the end replay value and then a number and then nothing
or the summer, gamers will probably get a lot out of this game on a second playthrough.
Yeah.
If they don't get all the achievements the first time around.
I review video games professionally for a living, which means that I don't play games.
I burned through this 20-hour game in 16 or 10 hours, or I didn't fucking finish it, but gamers will probably probably want to play it again and again. They'll come back to the Far Cry multiplayer.
At this point, I have enough trouble, and I don't review games because we don't do that at Gamma Studio, but like,
what do you do, Chris?
I play video games all day long and get paid for it. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, goodness.
No, I mean, I have enough trouble, like, just playing through games once. Like, I don't have time. Like, there's so many games that come out now, and like, I have a very limited amount of time I can actually like devote to completing them all, and so I don't usually. And so the idea of like just playing the same game 1,000,000 times, I'm like, I don't really think that's going to happen very often.
Well, sometimes you see in movie reviews like, oh, you'll want to watch it again, but that's just a synonym for it's good.
But that's also like 1.5 hours, 2 hours. You know what I mean? A game is
not always.
I think
good. Sometimes there are really bad movies that are not. That I can watch again.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, I mean, that's why we have alcohol.
They're bad, but
right. But I mean, there is something to be said for talking about whether or not a game on second playthrough offers you the chance to change things up. Chrono Trigger, an excellent early example, right?
Bethesda
with New Game Plus. I mean,
there's funny. I was just thinking that as an example of a game that I just recently played that didn't hold up for me. But
which?
Didn't, well, I mean, yeah.
Wait, really? That's so weird because 2 weeks ago you said it did hold up.
It held up in gameplay, but I don't want to get into it. But
wait, why not?
Well, because
I don't want to answer
is just so fluffy, and there's nothing else other than the basic JRPG mechanics, which
But again,
once you played it, but
it can be a bit of a letdown, right? As an adult, when you were 13 and played this game, and it's like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. Not that I was ever 13 when I played Chrono Trigger, but
Yeah.
It would be
If you were.
impossible. But if I was, it'd be like, this is fucking Shakespeare. And now it's like, this is silly. This is Akira Toriyama.
It's like there are two things
This
going
is why I
on,
don't
like,
watch Dragon Ball.
Advances in the gaming industry and advances in my like maturity,
Right.
like, have combined to make that game.
But at the
much
same time,
obsolete.
there's something objective you can say about like, yes, replay value. You can go through the game again and things can be markedly different for you.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, like Fallout, which I'm playing through
yeah.
again now, like because the DLC came out. Oh, by the way, I tried to find the DLC and I can't fucking find it. And then I put a waypoint on my map and it goes through a building that has no entrance. So I don't know what.
Maybe
to do.
that's where they hid the DLC.
Yeah, maybe it is. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. And like, it's cool. I think that is like a unique thing to games that makes them interesting. That can be great if you do it right. It's just. It shouldn't be a minus if you don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many great games that are that don't feature that it's who cares? Like,
and sometimes games that are designed specifically to be replayed a lot seems so daunting to me that it has the opposite effect.
Yeah, the whole replayability thing is just the same holdover as if this game doesn't give you 80 hours of play, it's not worth your $45.
Yeah, like when I hear about a game that's like that, I just don't even want to pick it up because it's like, Jesus,
it's frightening.
Like,
I hate
then you
it.
have developers
You
kind of
won't play any other
artificially-
game for 6 months.
Wait, that sounds terrible.
It's like, this better be like the best fucking game
but
ever.
I like video games.
And invariably they aren't that good. Like, you know, you get games that are super long. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
It could
it's
also be a
Saga
holdover.
Frontier.
It
It's
is
80
weird.
hours.
Like, it is weird thinking back to that because I beat Xenogears when that game came out. I think it took me like a fucking year. Like the idea of ever doing that, like the idea of to today, like in any time that I can even imagine for the rest of my life doing that again, is such a preposterous notion. Like that I would ever dedicate that much time to a single game to beat it once.
Yeah, for me that was like freshman year of college. Parasite Eve came out and then Xenogears came out, and Parasite Eve was like, oh man, it's 10 hours long. I got ripped the fuck off. Then it was Xenogears, and it was like, yes, finally something I can sink my teeth into.
I can max out the clock in the start menu.
Yep, my
which I
brain
did.
has flipped.
Yeah.
Like, a 10-hour game sounds great.
I got through Portal in one Saturday, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that was the best
I beat a
fucking
game
ever.
Yeah.
Winner.
Yep.
I mean, that's how all of Valve's recent games have been for me. Like this Half-Life 2 episodes and stuff. I'm just like, got through those in like a weekend, like played it for a couple days. Sweet. Like, check that off the list. That game
Next
was awesome.
cool thing, please.
It was so exciting. I was so pleased to be finished. It was like, and they were fun too. So that was good.
Cool. So
But everybody has their own opinion about that kind of thing.
I know they do, but this is ours.
like how
that's my point. I was trying to conclude.
Brecken.
Fucking egalitarian asshole. Shut up.
Yeah, God.
We're right and everyone else is wrong.
I bet you
Don't
don't
know
like
that?
games that are like 70 hours long, don't you? Anything less than that's just fucking baby game, right? Fucking you.
That's you over there.
Where's your
being a
SimCity
baby.
5 now?
in
No
my
one
mind.
wants it.
Yeah, this is true.
You're a dying breed, old man.
Yeah.
All right. Spaff, our Idle Thumbs UK colleague, writes, "Hey guys, it's me, Spaff. I was intending to discuss your recent topic of games in real life." Oh yeah, right. And he has an opposite example of
This is great.
this is really good, yeah. Not a game influencing real life, but the other way around. So he says, when I worked at NCSoft, a designer Counter-Strike level based on the Office complex, complete with textures made from photos. The wallpaper was the same, etc. In one game as a terrorist, I went charging forward and followed a counter-terrorist into the toilet, where I massacred him. Upon exiting the toilet, instead of clearly thinking about which way to go, I instinctively walked back to my desk. At which point I ran straight into the rest of the counter-terrorist team and promptly died.
They were all just hanging around his desk.
Yeah. They just wanted to like have talk about, you know, the latest episode of Lost. Yeah.
That makes me really happy, though.
That's
It's
pretty fantastic.
Oh shit. Wait a minute. It's a video game.
He says, yeah. So he just says that he often had the other experience that we did that episode, you know, about before, but it was weird to have it happen the other way around. So sweet.
That's quality.
Yeah. Joe writes, "I'm finally catching up on the old episodes and glad to hear you all like Diablo. Would you guys be willing to form a group with me when Diablo 3's out?" Joe, sure, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Why not?
No.
Yeah, well, Kohler won't.
Yeah.
That guy's an asshole. All right, so
He steals your loot.
Tom W. Yeah. Tom W. writes, "I know I'm a week late with this, but parts of your iMUSE and general MIDI discussion are driving me batty. I don't know how you guys could talk about iMUSE without mentioning X-Wing or TIE Fighter unless you've never played their originally floppy-based releases. I did. I had those games on like 13
I thought we also
floppies.
did name drop X-Wing in the conversation.
Yeah, I think we did,
We didn't
yeah.
talk about it at great length.
Yeah, I guess not. Also, anyone who preferred FM synthesis over general MIDI music is either out of their mind or didn't have a decent general MIDI card. I don't think we ever expressed that preference.
He's just
I mean, maybe
JP might have.
JP might have, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, but we're admittedly out of our minds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we might be out of our minds. He said he wrote a much longer message about this stuff in our forum. So go to idlethumbs.net/forums and you can read all about it.
Yeah.
Also, you can play some text adventures. We put some new ones in there.
Oh, yeah. Was it Violet?
Yeah, Violet, and there's a new one too.
Oh, I haven't
Whose
checked
name
it
I
out.
forget. Yeah.
But yeah, Tom W., you may want to go. We linked to JP's blog when he was on a guest, so click on that. And I bet that he would love to shoot the shit about old synthesizers
probably true.
forever and ever.
Yeah.
Or he's sad
Yeah.
because he's talked about it forever.
Yeah.
right.
He might be done with it.
He might be.
But
Have we? Are we going to do the final best reader mail ever?
should we?
Okay. Oh, I think so.
All right. Here we go. Someone wrote in.
You look out for this, everyone.
We're going to pass it around so we all get a chance
are
to
we?
read some of it. Oh, definitely.
Oh, are we? Okay.
I want to read some of it.
All right. So I don't even know who this was, but someone says, I don't remember where I found this, but I found it on the internet somewhere.
Oh, this isn't a reader mail?
Wait.
No.
Oh, really?
No, I just found this on the internet.
Oh, I thought somebody sent this to you.
No, sorry to
Oh.
disappoint you guys.
Well, we can read it anyway.
All right. Here we go.
Maybe we can read just a sample then, because
All right.
Yeah, we don't have to read the entire crazy thing.
Okay.
Reader mail.
Pretend
Yes,
this was
we
sent
read
to
the entire
Chris.
thing.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got this email. guys.
This reads a lot like a Wired blog
Here we
comment.
go. Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay, Killzone 2 is a good game, but not a reason for buying a gay station. Say by yourself, the graphics are the same like an Xbox 360. Xbox 360 is $150, and you can modify him for downloading free games like me. Don't pay for games, do nice things with your money. Go clubbing or something. And now, if you buy a PS3, you are really stupid, because the next Xbox will maybe launch in 2010. The Xbox 360 is all on the lead for 3 years. Maybe that gay station will be console of 2009. But don't forget the PS3 owners must pay for their shit. We pay for almost everything free. Big grin. Modified, an Xbox 360 is not much work. You can let I do almost everywhere for only $35. Big grin. A lot of PS3 are damaged, and Xbox 360 is now very good quality because they are Jasper chip. Change on Rod is now 0%. A PlayStation 3 will be damaged in 1 year, and Sony don't give guarantee. If you want Blu-ray, but buy a real Blu-ray home cinema set, it's much cooler and very nice sound. You can call me fanboy, but I am not. I compared all the consoles, and I have them all. Wii, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. If you have girlfriend, you must buy a Wii. Trust me, she likes it. Tongue face smiley. So use your mind and buy a Wii or Xbox. Never buy a gay station. By the way, MAG fans, there is a great chance that MAG will be canceled. And please, don't call me fanboy. I know about what I talking.
Ta-da! There's fucking internet dude for you.
I know about what I talk.
I know. He knows about what he talking.
He does.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't call him a fanboy, though.
No.
He said twice to not do that.
He compared them all.
Big grin.
All right.
Yep.
Want to wrap it up?
Thanks for listening to this podcast on the internet.
And thanks for Chris Kohler for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for Chris Kohler.
Thank you for having me.
All right. See you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Video games.
Secret Sony source is a dipshit. Yeah. Wonderful.
Xbox 360.